Hey, how you doing out there today? Welcome, Michael ISSA here, Amp Fitness LA, submitting my video final for my ISSA Specialist in Strength and Conditioning certification. Currently, I'm working with Bolsa Grande High School out in Garden Grove, California. Work with multiple sports. I head up their athletic performance, working with football. I have track and field athletes, work with baseball, and we're trying to wrap a few other sports underneath, getting into one uniform program. Today, I'm going to be walking you through a little warm-up, dynamic warm-up, and some everyday skill-specific drills with one of my linemen. And we'll spend about 15-20 minutes on this typically for practice. It does a great job of getting them ready, nice and warmed up. And the everyday drill part is great the way we build in some mobility, some flexibility, some position-specific skill work. There's some conditioning, also some agility work built into there along with some strength. So we get quite a bit done in a short period of time. Give or take about 15 to 25 minutes depending on the number of kids. We typically will try to go at a very fast pace so we can maximize the number of repetitions that we get per athlete. So we're just gonna walk you through that real quick with one of my athletes. Just again, quick 5-10 yard dynamic warm up. Then we're gonna spend about 15 minutes normally on some everyday drills, and we'll walk you through that, and then you'll see how we kind of put it together. It does a really great job of minimizing any wasted practice time. One thing we hate is losing reps and just standing around and explaining. So we don't want to posture, we just kind of want to get to it. This does a great job of getting their body ready, getting their mind ready, getting everything working, because we're doing stuff in all different directions. We're very low, and it's a really decent setup. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Stay tuned. Again, Michael ISSA, Amp Fitness LA. I head up athletic performance over at Bolsa Grande High School for multiple sports in Garden Grove, CA. Stay tuned. So first we begin with a quick warm up. Start with walking toe touches. And they're under control. Bring that one leg up, reaching across the opposite hand. Get that good stretch in. You're gonna do the same thing other direction. Notice athlete is not just swinging his leg up. He's under control. Nice. Taking deep breaths as he goes. Next we go walking knee hug. Take a step, grab that knee, 3 more steps, grab the other knee, alternating, making sure we get that nice double stretch in that knee hug. So we want to pull it up and get a Senka yank. Really open up them hips. The quad stretched. Next is just a nice light jog for 10 yards. Just get the bar pump real quick. Now he's just gonna face one direction. He's gonna get into an athletic position, and then he's gonna shuffle across laterally, keeping a nice neutral spine. Since he's an offensive lineman, we need to make sure that everything he does has a little extra hand action, guard up at all times. Next is a traditional karaoke. We're gonna go low where he's just crossing over at the ankles. Okay. Again, make it a little more sport specific. We try to always stay in a nice low athletic position. Now we're gonna transfer into a high knee karaoke where we're bringing the knee up and over the top, really driving that knee up and across the body. All right, next up, we're gonna go to a quick high knee jog, making sure that we're driving that knees up, at least hip height, getting quick foot contact. Well, coaching point here would be that he should not be crossing his hands across his body, working more forward and backward. Next, he'll turn around and do a quick little back pedal. Okay. Make sure we lean forward. See our good arm action there. Okay. We don't want to lean back as we back pedal and get on our heels. We want to stay on our toes. That way we don't lose our balance. Now he's going to get down into a 3-point stance and hit a quick 10-yard sprint. So notice, gets set, gets balanced stance, and just fire straight out. Again, trying to maintain a nice low position the whole time. After this, we transition to more position specific kind of drills where we work our early outs. Some people will call those endos. I actually prefer to do this and get rid of the initial dynamic stretch, because we get to work on mobility, flexibility, a little bit of everything all in one shot. So first is we fire straight out. Right foot first. Notice that small foot fire he had for about 5 yards. And then sprint the last 5 yards. Then we'll continue and work our blocking sequence in that order. Next, he's working a bit more of down block. Working that shoulder up, keeping that blocking surface nice and tight. Gonna make it easier for him, and very good. Okay. Right here, notice, first 3 steps completing. Left shoulder, right foot is our next up. We're going to go work on our shoulder skills. Get that left shoulder and that right foot in. Athlete can work a little bit more on emulating a game time situation. Maybe first taking those first 2 steps, then throwing that shoulder in. But again, this is good work for mobility, flexibility, and all that stuff. Okay, now we're going to work escape to backer. So this is one where if we had to get around a defensive lineman real quick, make a block to second level, he just does that really quick. Okay, see how he sheds that block real quick. Okay, let's go flat pull. He's going to flat pull, going to kick out to his right. Again, notice. So that leaves that blocking surface. We're trying to take an in and out path during our individual team periods or their individual team periods. We can get more specific on technique. Just initial warm up. We want to just get the blood pumping, get everything going. That way they're ready for when we hit sled or some of that later. We're going to do is the concept. We do a skip pull. Gonna skip pull to the right. Of course, everything does one way, he's into his next. Okay, gonna drop. This is really good for some neuromuscular development. Get everything thinking. You're not using the conventional footwork that you normally would be. It's more of a back crossover step. Then you hit up. Fantastic. All right. Now we'll move on to our next drill set that we do for about approximately 2 minutes. Then we'll move on to the next drills in our sequence of 10. Alright, so now we're going to start with what we call our ISO drill, or essentially just a bear crawl. Normally with resistance, but for today, and given the state of COVID, to keep social distancing, he's just going to complete them on his own. All right. Notice, drive those knees right up into your chest. We don't want them feet wide. We want the knees to be driven right up into the chest. This is great because it works flexibility in the ankles, knees, and hips. Okay. Want to always make sure to keep our ankles, knees, and hips all in a straight line. Okay. That we will normally continue for about 2 minutes. So he will go again, one more time. All right, normally we do this again for about 2 minutes. Everything is timed out in terms of how we want it done. That way it doesn't disrupt any practice and we can maximize what we get out of our athletes, in this specific instance, offensive linemen, during the initial periods of that. Then from there, we'd move on to a minute of an airplane drill. Where the lineman will get set up. We run an air raid type offense, so he could be in a 2-point, right? He's gonna flare those arms out. So he's gonna foot fire real quick, 5 yards. When he gets to that 5-yard point, throw the arms out to help with the acceleration. This is great because it teaches players how to run off the ball. So key point is we want him to drive for 5 yards, accelerate 5, throwing arms back like a plane, head and shoulders in the toes to finish like a sprinter across the line. Okay, pull down your mask, get some air. I'm 20 feet away from you, you're good. Okay. At this point, we don't rest, we continue. So he's got his mask down. We're going to move on again. Now we're going to do some duck walks on air. You can keep your mask off. Nobody's near you. Nobody's around. Go ahead. So you're going to duck, foot fire, foot fire, foot fire. Okay. Now I'm going to go 5 and then jog out 5. Okay. So notice his feet nice and low, nice and low. He can sink his hips a little bit better. Okay. That's a mobility issue. We've been working on that with James. Struggles a little bit with that. Need one more. Okay. Them hips down. So we want to really make sure that our hips are down here. We're foot fire and we're not too high up. Okay. This is great. Okay. This teaches our run demeanor, instep, posture, profile. You're going to play with 2 feet on the ground. Opposite arm moves, the opposite knee. Fantastic. Okay. Normally, we would have some med ball punches. Again, in keeping with the times, he is just going to punch on air. So he's going to bring his arms right where he is. No moving. You're just going to bring your arms from low to high and just punch. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Starting a 2-point stance, James. Okay. Face sideways so I can catch you on camera. Right. Make sure we're driving with the hips, right? Right. So it's less leading with the arms and more of a hip drive. Get them hips all the way through. Finish. That extension. That's how you get that distance between you and the player. Awesome. Okay. Normally, again, we would do these against a medicine ball, but given the current state of affairs, these are just as effective for 2 minutes under control. Bring the hands from low to high. We want to make sure that we learn to strike with the low hips. Next up, we're going to duck walk to medicine ball punch. So he is going to duck walk for 5 yards. These cones are 5 yards apart. Then he will punch when he gets there. So duck, and punch. Okay, good. Duck, and punch. Okay. Make sure to keep them feet out. Good. Purpose is to address and strike a target on the move, right? So we got to get guys in there moving around sometimes, right? We want to make sure we play with 2 feet on the ground. Opposite arm moves the opposite knee, and you got to learn to strike again. Low hips. Accelerate the contact. Now from this point, all right, we're going to move on. Again, that's another 2-minute drill. I'm going to shorten it up a little bit because he's just one guy. We normally have a bunch of them. All right. Next, we're going to work on some pass protection concepts. So, James, go to the middle one. That way you have room. Go to the middle of the middle set of cones. Move up 5 yards. That way you have room to navigate. All right. So, we're going to start with a power step. Power step to the right, James. Okay, you misread. That's a vertical set. Power step. Okay, you know, step with your power foot, lean back. Here in my 2 point, I'm leaning back, and I'm stepping to the right. Okay? Flat step. Let's go. 3 flat steps. 3 flat steps. 3 flat steps, James. It's past pro. 3 flat steps. All right, reset. Reset. And it'll just go back and forth from side to side. Now that we were able to course correct them. Give me one more. Here we practice demeanor and body tilt. Emphasis is on the post foot, which is that front foot. We got to reach with the lead foot, drag the trail foot. Okay? Weight distribution is in the opposite direction. Next up, after that minute, we're going to go to kick slide. Kick out at a 45-degree angle. 2, 3. Okay, make sure we're sinking them hips. Okay? Key point here is we need to drop them hips, chest back. Okay? Got to get that chest back, James. Hey, remember, here, vertical, and get that chest back. Okay? That's a very important point. Okay? Right now, he doesn't realize it. It's a little bit of mobility. Been out of practice for a couple months, but he's giving himself up to a defender. Okay? We need to be sink our hips, chest up and proud. Again, another bad boy. This is to practice demeanor and tilt. Again, emphasis is on that kick foot. Reach. Good. Okay? Remember, reach your lead, drag the other foot. Awesome. After a minute of that, now we work on our vertical sets or drop sets, depending on how you want to call them. He's going to set. He's going to drop straight back. So remember, we don't want to turn our hips. We are going straight back. Remember, you are kicking directly back, James, just like if it was a shot put or discus. There you go, a shot put rather. Okay. Keep them hips low, chest up. Okay, you're leaning too far forward. Okay. Want to cover ground. Want to cover at least that 3 to 4 yards right from where you start. Okay, good, good, good. A little more. Again, we practice our demeanor, emphasize our little stagger here. We want to get our shoulders upright. That's what we like to see, right? This is just a portion, and then we move on to, give me one more, James. One more quick set, either side, active hands, active feet. Okay, just try to remember always dropping them hips. Okay. All right, so that'll take us through about a 15 minutes. Now break for water, break for water. All right, so that'll carry us through about 20 minutes normally of practice, 15 to 20 minutes. This way our football athletes, they can get some more sport-specific conditioning and drills in there as part of the programming. Helps save on practice time and helps build skills. And as you can see, even with one person operating, we like to operate at a faster tempo, but operating at a moderate tempo, you get a decent amount of working. Again, hips, knees, ankles, flexibility, that mobility there is super important, especially when we're talking about offensive linemen. So I appreciate that. Thank you for watching my final submission for ISSA, International Sports Science Association's Specialist in Strength and Conditioning exam. Coach Acosta, let me know if it helps.